Shit!
No, just watch it.
Daniel, you'll regret this.
Never mind.
This is Ali. Emily needs...
I'm ready, I said, even though my hands were shaking. Then start, Daniel replied, leaning back in his chair like he was bored already. I took a breath and looked around the room. This idea can increase client retention by at least 30% if we... This. Daniel cut in, a laugh slipping out before I could finish. This is your big idea. The room went silent for half a second. Then someone chuckled. Then another. And suddenly, everyone was laughing. My throat tightened. If you just let me explain. No, Daniel said, raising his hand like I was a child. I've heard enough. I worked really hard on this, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. If you just look at the projections. Projections? He repeated, smirking. Emily, you're an assistant. Since when do assistants make projections? A few people laughed again. I felt my face burn. I stayed up all week for this. I thought it could help the company. Daniel leaned forward, his eyes sharp. Help the company? Or make yourself look important? That's not fair, I whispered. Fair? He said. You want fair? Stay in your lane. Those 4 words hit harder than anything else. Stay in your lane. I swallowed. I just wanted a chance. You had your chance, he said. And you wasted everyone's time. I didn't waste. Enough, he snapped. The room went quiet again, but this time it felt heavy. I don't know who gave you the idea that you could step into strategy, Daniel continued, his voice calm but cold. But let me make this clear. I clenched my hands. Please. You're just an assistant, Emily. Nothing more. Nothing more. I looked around the table. No one met my eyes. Not even the people who used to smile at me every morning. I thought you supported this, I said, looking back at Daniel. You told me to bring ideas. I said bring useful ideas, he replied. Not this. This can work, I said, my voice breaking. I believe in it. He leaned back again and shrugged. Belief doesn't make something valuable. So that's it? I asked. You're not even going to consider it? He shook his head. Meeting over. People started gathering their things. Just like that. Like I didn't matter. Wait, I said, stepping forward. Can we talk about this privately? Daniel sighed. Emily, I have real work to do. This is real to me, I said. He looked at me for a long second, then stood up. Fine. 5 minutes. The room emptied, leaving just the 2 of us. I held my notes tightly. Why are you doing this? Doing what? He asked. You encouraged me, I said. You told me to think bigger. I tell everyone that, he replied. Most people know their limits. I know mine, I said quietly. Do you? He asked. I hesitated. I thought I did. He shook his head. This isn't your place, Emily. Why not? I asked. Because I don't have your title. Because you don't have the experience, he said. Or the instincts. You didn't even listen, I said. I didn't need to, he replied. That's not fair, I said again. Life isn't fair, he said. Get used to it. I felt something crack inside me. So what happens now? He walked past me and picked up a file. Now, you go back to doing what you were hired for. And if I don't? I asked. He looked at me over his shoulder. Then you don't belong here. Silence filled the room. Are you firing me? I asked. He paused, then said, I think it's best if you move on. My heart dropped. You're serious? Yes. After everything I've done? I asked. All the overtime. All the weekends. That was your choice, he said. I did it for this company, I said. And the company doesn't need this, he replied. I felt tears sting my eyes. Or me. He didn't answer. That silence was louder than anything he had said. Okay, I whispered. HR will handle the details, he said, already turning away. Daniel, I said, my voice barely holding together. He stopped but didn't turn around. What? I trusted you. He didn't respond. I waited. Nothing. I really trusted you, I said again. Good luck, Emily, he said, and walked out. Just like that. I stood there alone, my notes still in my hands. They suddenly felt useless. Everything felt useless. A few minutes later, I found myself packing my desk. No one said much. Take care, someone muttered. Sorry, another whispered. But no one stood up for me. No one stayed. I placed the last item into the box and looked around one final time. This place used to feel like everything. Now it felt like nothing. As I walked out, I heard faint laughter from another room. For a second, I thought it was about me again. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. It didn't matter. I stepped outside, the sun too bright against my eyes. I held the box tighter and whispered to myself, was I really that worthless? No one answered. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't have an answer either. I stared at my phone as it rang again. Sophie. I let it ring until it stopped. A second later, it started again. Emily, pick up, her voice said in the voicemail. I know you're there. I muted the phone and turned it face down. I'm not here, I whispered to myself. The room felt too quiet. Too empty. You're nothing. Daniel's voice played in my head again. Stop, I muttered, pressing my hands against my ears. Just stop. But it didn't. This is your big idea. I squeezed my eyes shut. It wasn't that bad. You're just an assistant. I'm not, I said out loud. I'm not just that. Silence answered me. I laughed bitterly. Then what am I? No answer. My phone buzzed again. This time, a message. Sophie, if you don't open this door, I'm breaking it. I frowned. You wouldn't. A loud knock hit the door. Emily, she shouted. Open it. I stayed still. Another knock, louder. I'm serious. Go away, I said weakly. No, she replied instantly. Not happening. I'm fine, I said. You sound like a ghost, she said. Open the door. I don't want to talk. Too bad, she snapped. Open it, or I'm calling the landlord. I sighed and dragged myself to the door. When I opened it, she pushed past me. You look terrible, she said, looking me up and down. Thanks, I muttered. When was the last time you ate? She asked. I'm not hungry. That's not what I asked. I shrugged. Yesterday, maybe. She crossed her arms. Unbelievable. I said I'm fine. You're not fine, she shot back. You got fired, humiliated, and now you're hiding. I'm not hiding, I said. She raised an eyebrow. Really? Because this looks exactly like hiding. I looked away. I just need time. For what? She asked. To replay his words again and again. I stayed silent. She stepped closer. Say it. Say what? What he said, she demanded. I hesitated. It doesn't matter. Say it, she repeated. I swallowed. He said, I'm nothing. And you believe that? She asked. I didn't answer. That's what I thought, she said. You're letting him win. I already lost, I said quietly. No, she said firmly. You gave up. I didn't give up, I snapped. He didn't even listen. So what? She said. Since when does one person decide your worth? He was my boss, I said. He decides everything. Not anymore, she replied. I shook my head. You don't get it. Then make me get it, she said. I ran my hand through my hair. I trusted him. He told me to bring ideas. He told me I could do more. And? She asked. And then he laughed, I said, my voice breaking. In front of everyone. Sophie softened for a moment. That was cruel. It was humiliating, I said. I can still hear it. You're nothing, she said, mimicking his tone. Don't, I whispered. That's what he said, right? She asked. Yes. And you're going to let that define you, she said. I looked at her. What else do I have? Yourself, she said. Your idea. Your brain. He said my idea was useless. He's not God, she snapped. He's successful, I said. He knows what works. Or he's scared, she said. I frowned. Scared of what? Of you, she said. I let out a short laugh. That's ridiculous. Is it? She asked. Why shut you down so fast if you didn't matter? I didn't respond. She stepped closer again. Answer me. I don't know, I admitted. Exactly, she said. You don't know. So why assume the worst about yourself? I sat down on the couch. Because it feels true. Feelings lie, she said. Facts don't. And the fact is, I got fired. The fact is, one man couldn't see your value, she corrected. That sounds the same. It's not, she said. There's a big difference. I rubbed my face. I'm tired. Good, she said. Be tired. But don't be weak. I looked up at her. I'm not weak. Then prove it, she said. How? She pointed at my laptop. Start again. I stared at it. What's the point? The point is to show yourself you're more than what he said, she replied. What if he's right? I asked. Then you'll fail, she said calmly. But at least it'll be your failure, not his judgment. I stayed quiet. Are you going to cry forever? She continued, her voice sharper now. Or are you going to prove him wrong? Her words hit hard. I looked at my laptop again. My idea. The one he laughed at. It was still there. Untouched. Unfinished. Do you really think it can work? I asked. She shrugged. I think you'll never know if you quit now. I stood up slowly. That's it, she said. Go on. I walked to the desk and opened the laptop. The screen lit up, showing my notes. I hesitated. Emily, Sophie said softly. Yeah. You don't need his approval. I nodded. I know. So what do you need? She asked. I took a deep breath. I need to try. That's my girl, she said. I sat down and started typing. Hey, Sophie said. I glanced at her. What? She smiled slightly. That's the first smart thing you've said all day. I rolled my eyes. Don't get used to it. She laughed. Too late. I looked back at the screen, my fingers moving faster now. You're really doing this, she said. Yes, I replied. For him? She asked. I shook my head. No. For me. She nodded. Good answer. I paused for a second, then whispered, one day, he'll regret that laugh. Sophie leaned against the wall. I'm counting on it. I smiled faintly, and for the first time since everything fell apart, I didn't feel empty anymore. I don't have anything left, I said, staring at my empty wallet. You have your idea, Sophie replied. That's enough to start. It doesn't pay rent, I muttered. Neither does self-pity, she shot back. Get up. I'm taking you somewhere. Where? I asked. To someone who might actually listen, she said. I've heard that before, I said quietly. Not from me, she replied. Come on. I followed her into a small cafe, the smell of coffee hitting me instantly. He's over there, she said, pointing. A man sat with a laptop, typing fast. Ryan, Sophie called. He looked up. Hey. This is her. This is Emily, she said. The one I told you about. He stuttered me for a second. You look nervous. I am, I admitted. Good, he said. It means you care. Sit. I sat across from him. So, he said, closing his laptop, tell me everything. I hesitated. You won't laugh. I don't laugh at ideas, he said. I test them. I nodded slowly. Okay. I explained my concept, my voice shaking at first, then growing steadier. Ryan didn't interrupt. He just listened. When I finished, he leaned back. It's risky, he said. My stomach dropped. But it could work, he added. I blinked. Really? Yes, he said. If you execute it right. I felt a small spark inside me. I can learn. Good, he said. Because it won't be easy. I don't need easy, I said. He smiled slightly. That's the right answer. Sophie grinned. See? I told you. Ryan opened his laptop again. We'll need to start from zero. I expected that, I said. Do you have any funding? He asked. No, I said. Any team? He asked. No. Any backup plan? He asked. I shook my head. No. He paused, then laughed softly. Perfect. Perfect. I repeated. Nothing to lose, he said. That's the best place to start. I exhaled. Then let's start. All right, he said. First step, we map out the structure. Tell me what to do, I said. No, he replied. We build it together. Days turned into nights. Did you eat? Sophie asked one evening. I forgot, I said, still typing. That's not healthy, she said. Neither is failure, I replied. Ryan glanced at me. You're pushing too hard. I need to, I said. Burnout won't help, he said. Neither will stopping, I shot back. He raised his hands. Fair point. But pace yourself. I can't afford to slow down, I said. You can't afford to crash either, he replied. I sighed. Fine. I'll take a break after this. You said that 3 hours ago, Sophie said. Okay, after this for real, I said. She shook her head. You're impossible. I'm focused, I corrected. Ryan leaned back. She's determined. That's good. Or stubborn, Sophie said. Same thing sometimes, he replied. Weeks passed. This part isn't working, Ryan said, pointing at the screen. It should, I insisted. It doesn't, he said calmly. Maybe we coded it wrong, I said. Or maybe the idea needs adjustment, he replied. I clenched my jaw. I don't want to change it. Then it will fail, he said. I looked away. I hate this part. Everyone does, he said. This is where most people quit. I won't quit, I said. Good, he replied. Then adapt. I took a deep breath. Okay. What do you suggest? He leaned forward. We simplify this section and focus on the core value. That might work, I said slowly. It will, he said. Trust the process. I'm trying, I said. Trying isn't enough, he said. You have to commit. I am committed, I said. Then show it, he replied. Another late night. What if Daniel was right? I whispered, staring at the screen. Ryan didn't look up. About what? That this is useless, I said. He stopped typing and looked at me. Do you believe that? I don't know, I admitted. Then why are you here? He asked. Because I want to prove him wrong, I said. He shook his head. That's not enough. What do you mean? I asked. You need to prove it to yourself, he said. I stayed quiet. Daniel doesn't matter here, he continued. This is about you. I can't forget what he said, I said. You don't have to, he replied. Use it. Use it. I repeated. As fuel, he said. Not as a limit. I looked at him. And if I fail? He shrugged. Then you learn. And if I succeed? I asked. He smiled slightly. Then you win. I let out a small laugh. Simple. Simple doesn't mean easy, he said. I nodded. I get that now. He pointed at the screen. So what's your move? I straightened in my chair. We fix this part. Good, he said. Let's do it. Hours later, I leaned back. It works, I said, almost in disbelief. Ryan checked the results and nodded. It does. Sophie clapped softly. Finally. I smiled, a real one this time. We are actually doing this. Yes, Ryan said. We are. I looked at the screen again. For the first time, it didn't feel like a broken idea. It felt like something real. Hey, Sophie said. Yeah, I asked. I'm proud of you, she said. I felt my chest tighten, but in a different way. Thank you. Ryan closed his laptop. This is just the beginning. I know, I said. And it's going to get harder, he added. I'm ready, I replied. He studied me for a moment. You've changed. Have I? I asked. Yes, he said. You're not doubting every step anymore. I thought about it. Maybe I'm just tired of doubting. Good, he said. Doubt slows you down. I still feel it sometimes, I admitted. That's normal, he said. Just don't let it control you. I nodded. I won't. Sophie smiled. Look at you. All serious now. I laughed softly. I have to be. Why? She asked. Because this matters, I said. Ryan pointed at me. That's the mindset. I looked at both of them. Thank you. For believing in me. Sophie waved it off. Of course. Ryan nodded. Now prove us right. I turned back to the screen, my fingers ready again. I will, I said. And this time. I believed it. You're pacing again, Ryan said, watching me walk back and forth. I can't help it, I replied. This meeting matters. They all matter, he said calmly. This one is different, I insisted. This is our first real investor. Sophie leaned against the wall. You've prepared for this. I know, I said. But what if I mess up? Ryan shook his head. You won't. You can't promise that, I said. I don't need to, he replied. You've already done the hard part. I stopped pacing. Building it wasn't the hard part. Believing in it was, he said. I exhaled slowly. Okay. Sophie smiled. There she is. Don't start, I said. I'm serious, she said. You've changed. I had to, I replied. Ryan checked the time. You should go. Right, I said, grabbing my bag. This is it. You've got this, Sophie said. Convince him, Ryan added. I will, I said, though my heart was racing. I stood outside the office door, staring at the name on it. Victor Lang. I whispered to myself, just talk. Just be honest. Are you coming in? A voice called from inside. I opened the door. Yes, sorry. Emily Carter, he asked. That's me, I said. Sit, he said, gesturing to the chair. I sat down, trying to keep my posture steady. He looked at a file in front of him. I've read a summary of your idea. I nodded. Yes. He looked up at me. Convince me. I took a breath. This platform focuses on user retention by building emotional engagement. I began. Instead of just selling a product, it creates a connection. He didn't interrupt. I continued, my voice steady. People don't just buy things. They stay where they feel valued. That's what this does. Go on, he said. It analyzes behavior patterns and adapts, I explained. It learns what users want before they leave. That sounds ambitious, he said. It is, I replied. But it works. You sound confident, he noted. I am, I said. Why? He asked. Because I built it, I said. And I've tested it. He leaned back. What makes you different from others trying the same thing? I didn't hesitate. I didn't start with money. I started with rejection. He raised an eyebrow. Explain. I was told my idea was worthless, I said. That I didn't belong in strategy. And? He asked. And I built it anyway, I said. He watched me closely. You're not afraid to fail. I already have, I replied. This is me trying again. He smiled slightly. That's rare. I leaned forward. I'm not asking you to believe in a concept. I'm asking you to see its potential. And what do you need from me? He asked. Investment, I said. And guidance. Guidance, he repeated. Yes, I said. I want to learn. He tapped his fingers on the desk. Most people just want money. I want to build something that lasts, I said. Silence filled the room. Then he asked, "What happens if I say no?" I held his gaze. "Then I find another way." He nodded slowly. "Good answer." I waited. He looked at the file again, then back at me. "You remind me of myself," he said. I blinked. "Is that good?" He smiled. "It can be dangerous." "I'll take that risk," I said. He leaned forward. "I'll invest." For a second, I thought I heard him wrong. "You will?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "I see potential here." I felt my chest tighten. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet," he said. "This is just the beginning." "I understand," I replied. "I expect results," he continued. "You'll get them," I said. He stood up and offered his hand. "Welcome to the next level." I shook his hand. "I won't disappoint you." "You better not," he said with a small smile. I walked out of his office, my heart pounding. I pulled out my phone and called Sophie. "Well," she answered immediately. "He's investing," I said. She screamed. "I knew it." Ryan's voice came through. "That's huge." "We did it," I said. "No," Ryan corrected. "You did it." I smiled. "We did it." Sophie laughed. "Celebrate tonight." "I will," I said. I ended the call and stood there for a moment. For the first time since that day, I felt proud. Not just relieved. Not just hopeful. Proud. "You look happy," a voice said behind me. I turned around. "Daniel." My smile faded slightly. "What are you doing here?" "I had a meeting," he said. "I didn't expect to see you." "I didn't expect to be here either," I replied. He looked at me carefully. "I heard about your project." "Did you?" I said. "Yes," he said. "It's getting attention." "It is," I replied. He nodded. "Impressive." I stuttered him. "You didn't think so before." He gave a small shrug. "People grow." "So do ideas," I said. He smiled faintly. "Maybe I misjudged you." "Maybe," I said. He glanced toward the office. "You meeting investors now?" "Yes," I said. "Good for you," he said. "Thank you," I replied, though it felt strange. He paused. "We should catch up sometime." "I'm busy," I said. He nodded. "Of course you are." I held his gaze. "Take care, Daniel." "You too, Emily," he said. I turned and walked away. This time, I didn't feel small. But as I stepped outside, one thought stayed with me. He noticed. And something told me. This wasn't over yet. I spotted him across the room before he saw me. Daniel Hayes. My stomach tightened. I hadn't expected to see him tonight. Not at this networking event. My hand hovered over my drink. Then he walked toward me, casually, like nothing had ever happened. "Emily." "Wow, you look different," he said, stopping in front of me. I forced a small smile. "People change." He chuckled softly. "I always knew you had potential." I froze for a moment. My chest tightened, my fingers curling around my glass. "Potential?" I asked. "That's generous of you to say now." He smiled, faint but confident. "I never doubted it. I just didn't realize how fast you'd grow." I felt my stomach turn. That line made me want to scream at him. Instead, I took a deep breath and stayed calm. "So, how's your company?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He shrugged. "It's going. You know how it is." I nodded slowly, my mind racing. How dare he act casual after everything? "I see your project's gaining attention," he said, leaning slightly closer. "Yes," I replied, keeping my tone neutral. "It's going well." "I have to admit," he said, "I didn't expect this from you." "Really?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "I thought you were confident about my potential." He smiled, awkwardly this time. Confidence doesn't always mean support. "Interesting," I said, taking a slow sip of my drink. "So, you laughed at me because you were confident." He hesitated. It was a different time. I made mistakes. You think saying that now changes anything? I asked. He looked down for a moment, then back at me. No, but I want to acknowledge it. I studied him, my heart racing. And what exactly are you acknowledging? That I underestimated you, he admitted. I laughed softly, though it wasn't amused. Underestimated? You humiliated me, Daniel. You didn't just underestimate me. He shifted, looking uncomfortable. I know. I regret that. Regret, I repeated. Funny word. I didn't know how else to act, he said. Back then. I was trying to prove myself too. I shook my head. At my expense. He paused. I see that now. The conversation hung in the air, heavy with tension. My heart was pounding, but I refused to let it show. Look, Emily, he said finally. I want to make amends. Make amends? I asked. How? Maybe we can collaborate, he said. Or at least, talk sometime. I stared at him. Do you even realize what you're asking? I do, he said. I just want a chance. I crossed my arms. Chance. You had your chance years ago. And you ruined it. I know, he said softly. I can't take that back. Exactly, I said. You can't. He nodded slowly. Then what do you want from me? Nothing, I replied. I've built my life without you. I don't need anything from you. He looked at me, searching my face. Even so. Even so, I said firmly. I choose my own path now. He exhaled, clearly frustrated. You're still angry. Am I? I asked, tilting my head. Or am I just careful? Careful, he repeated. Yes, I said. Careful not to let people like you control me again. He studied me for a long moment. You've changed. You could say that, I replied. He glanced toward the room, then back at me. We should catch up sometime. I'm busy, I said, keeping my voice steady. He hesitated. Right, of course. I looked at him one last time. Take care, Daniel. You too, Emily, he said, and walked away. I exhaled, letting the tension slip out of my body. My hand shook slightly, but this time it wasn't fear. Later that night, Sophie sat on my couch, watching me silently. What are you going to do? She asked finally. I didn't answer right away, because for the first time, I had a choice. Revenge, or something else. Sophie tilted her head. Emily. I looked at her, my eyes steady. I don't want to be him. What? She asked. I could make him regret it, I admitted quietly. I could ruin him, humiliate him. But I won't. I don't want that life. Sophie nodded slowly. Good. That's maturity. I leaned back against the couch. I want my success to be mine, not a reaction to him. And it will be, she said. You've earned it. I smiled faintly. I have. And that's enough. Sophie reached over, squeezing my hand. Then focus on what's ahead. I nodded. I will. Starting now. For the first time, I felt free. Daniel had returned, but I wasn't the same girl he once laughed at. I was stronger. I was careful. And I was in control. The past had come back, but I had already moved forward. Emily, the board wants to meet with you, Ryan said as I walked into the office. Already? I asked, glancing at my laptop. Yes, he replied. They're impressed with our numbers. I smiled faintly. I guess all those late nights paid off. You've earned this, he said. Not just the numbers. The confidence, too. I nodded, taking a deep breath. It's still surreal. Sophie leaned against the doorway. You're killing it. Investors love you. I didn't think it would happen this fast, I admitted. You didn't think it would happen at all, she said with a grin. I laughed softly. Maybe not. Weeks passed in a blur. Meetings, presentations, negotiations. Each success made me feel different, stronger, more in control. I wasn't Emily, The girl Daniel laughed at anymore. One morning, I heard whispers in the industry circles. Rumors about Daniel's company struggling. Bad decisions, lost clients, internal conflicts. I tried to push it out of my mind, but curiosity gnawed at me. "Emily," Ryan said one day, "you've got a meeting request. It's Daniel." My stomach dropped. What does he want now? "I don't know," Ryan said, "but he's asked for you specifically." I paused. My fingers tightened around my coffee cup. "I'll take it." Sophie frowned. "Are you sure?" "I need to see this," I said. The day of the meeting, I walked into his office. He stood as I entered, giving me that same confident smile I used to hate. "Emily," he said, "it's been a while." "Yes," I replied, keeping my tone neutral. He gestured to a chair. "Please, sit." I sat, crossing my arms slightly. "You wanted to see me." "I think we can help each other," he said. I blinked. "Help each other?" I repeated. "Yes," he said. I believe there's an opportunity here. Mutual benefit." I studied him. The arrogance I remembered was tempered by something else. Uncertainty. Mutual benefit. I asked, my voice steady, "Do you realize what day this is for me?" "I do," he said. "I also know your company is succeeding." I leaned back. "You know that?" "I hear things," he replied. "Rumors. And I know how capable you've become." I didn't answer immediately. Part of me wanted to savor this. The tables had turned. The girl he humiliated had risen, and now he was seeking my help. "I remember when you laughed at me," I said finally. He looked uncomfortable. Emily, that was years ago." "I remember it vividly," I said. "And I remember every word you said." He exhaled. "I know. I can't take that back." "I never asked you to," I said. "But now you want me to help you." "Yes," he admitted. "You have insights, a team, momentum. I need that." I leaned forward slightly. "And if I refuse?" He hesitated. "Then, I'll have to find another way." I smiled faintly. "Another way?" I repeated. "Because the old way didn't work." "Yes," he said quietly. I miscalculated before." I studied him. There was no arrogance now. No certainty. Just uncertainty. And a hint of fear, perhaps. "You look different," he said finally. "So do you," I replied, keeping my tone calm. "But for different reasons." He frowned slightly. "I see that. I underestimated you." "You did," I said. "And I don't forget easily." "I know," he said softly. I took a moment, letting the silence stretch. The power had shifted. I was no longer the one being laughed at. I was the one in control now. And he knew it. "Emily," he said, leaning forward. "I want this to work. I want us to collaborate." I shook my head slowly. "I don't think so. Not this time." His eyes widened. "You're turning me down." "I am," I said. "Because I've built my company from nothing. I'll make my own decisions. I don't need your help." He sat back, swallowing. I didn't expect that." "Neither did I," said softly, a small smile forming. "But I expected to be in charge of my own path." He exhaled slowly. "You've changed." "Yes," I said. "And so has my life. I've worked for this. I earned it." I see that now," he admitted. "You always will," I said, standing up. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do." He nodded, silent. The uncertainty in his eyes was clear. The power had shifted, and he felt it. As I walked out of his office, my chest felt lighter. Free. Sophie was waiting outside. "Well?" I said no, I said, a small smile on my lips. She grinned. "Perfect." I exhaled, looking back once at the closed door. Daniel Hayes had come seeking help, and I had refused him. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving. I was thriving, and the power had finally shifted. I didn't expect him to call. "Emily," Daniel said, his voice cautious. What do you want? I asked. I need to talk, he said. It's important. I hesitated. Go on. He sighed. I owe you an explanation. I raised an eyebrow. You owe me a lot more than an explanation, Daniel. I know, he admitted. But hear me out. I crossed my arms. Fine. Speak. I was under pressure, he said finally. Pressure to perform, to succeed, to be perfect. And your idea, it scared me. I blinked. Scared you? Yes, he said. It was ambitious, fresh, dangerous, everything I wasn't ready for. So you destroyed me instead? I asked, my voice shaking. He didn't answer. He just remained silent, and that silence said everything. You humiliated me, I said. You laughed at me in front of everyone. You made me feel worthless. And for what? He swallowed hard. I was afraid. I stared at him, my chest tightening. Afraid? Afraid of what? Of losing control, he admitted. Of being overshadowed. Of being exposed as inadequate. I shook my head slowly. You acted like strength, but it was fear. That's all it was. He looked down. I see that now. And what about me? I asked. Do you see what your fear did to me? Yes, he said quietly. I underestimated you. I underestimated how much it would hurt you, how much it would shape you. It shaped me, I said, but not in the way you thought, not in the way you intended. He lifted his gaze, looking at me. I didn't realize that in trying to protect myself, I was destroying someone capable, someone strong. You didn't realize, I repeated. That's the difference between us. I saw potential, even when you didn't. I know, he said softly, and I regret it. Regret doesn't fix anything, I said. It doesn't erase the years I doubted myself because of you. I know, he said again, his voice low, but I wanted to tell you the truth. I took a deep breath, letting his words sink in. The truth, I murmured. After all this time, it's just fear. Yes, he admitted. Fear and insecurity. Not strength, not cleverness, not malice. Just fear. I felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, not even relief, but clarity. So all those cruel words, all that laughter, all that humiliation, I said slowly. It wasn't power. It was weakness. Yes, he said quietly. And I understand if you never forgive me. I won't forgive you, I said firmly. But I see it now. I see why it happened. And that changes something. How? He asked, hopeful. I'm no longer reacting to you, I said. I'm acting for myself. Your fear doesn't control me anymore. He nodded slowly. I don't deserve that. No, I said. You don't. And that's exactly why I'm done giving you power over me. I understand, he said, his voice low, almost defeated. And that's the end of it, I said. I've moved forward. I built something real, something strong. Your fear can't touch it. I see that, he said quietly. You've become remarkable. Remarkable. I repeated, a faint smile tugging at my lips. I guess that's true. But I didn't become remarkable for you. I became remarkable for me. Yes, he admitted. And I respect that. I looked at him, studying the man who had once made me feel worthless. Now I saw him clearly, not as an enemy, not as a villain, but as a flawed human being. Fear had driven him, and fear had destroyed him from the inside out. So what now? He asked. Is this the end of our story? Yes, I said firmly. It's the end of your influence over me. The end of my reaction to you. The rest is mine. He nodded slowly, a shadow of sadness in his eyes. I understand. Good, I said, because clarity is more powerful than anger. And I finally have it. For the first time in years, I felt free from the weight of his betrayal. Not forgiven, not forgotten, but clear. And in that clarity, I found strength. Strength I had earned. strength he could never take from me. I looked at him one last time. "This is over, Daniel." "It is," he said softly. I turned away. And for the first time, I truly meant it. I heard the news before I saw him. Daniel's company collapsed. Faster than anyone could have imagined. Investors pulled out, Sophie said, scrolling through her phone. Clients are leaving. The press is ruthless. I nodded slowly. I heard. "It's surreal," she said. "After everything, his falling." I didn't answer. Part of me wanted to gloat. Part of me felt nothing. Then, one morning, a knock on my office door. "Come in," I said. He entered. Daniel Hayes. Not the confident, arrogant man I remembered. Not the one who laughed at me in front of everyone. No. This man looked small, worn, desperate. "Emily," his voice was low, hesitant. I need your help." I froze. "Excuse me." I asked. "I know this is," he hesitated, "awkward, but I have no one else." I stared at him. The same man who once mocked me, humiliated me, crushed my confidence, was now standing here, asking for mercy. "After everything you did?" I asked, my voice tight. "You come to me?" "Yes," he admitted. I made mistakes. Huge mistakes. I didn't see it coming, and now," he paused, swallowing, "I'm at the bottom." I felt my heart pounding, a strange mixture of vindication and emptiness. "So this is what it feels like," I whispered to myself. The tables turned. "I know I don't deserve anything," he said. I'm asking. Please." I clenched my fists. "Please. You laughed at me. You destroyed me. And now, you're asking." He nodded, his eyes desperate. "I have no pride left. Only survival." I looked at him, remembering the girl I used to be. The one who cried after he mocked her. The one who believed his words. And then I remembered the woman I became. The woman who built something real from nothing. I stopped myself. My throat was tight. I could. "Emily," he interrupted softly. "I don't expect forgiveness. I don't know who else to turn to." I studied his face. Fear, regret, desperation, it was all there. The mask of arrogance had completely fallen. "Do you know what it feels like?" I asked, my voice quiet but firm. "To be humiliated? To have someone crush your dreams, your confidence?" He flinched. "I do now," he admitted. I understand." I shook my head slowly. "Not enough. You might understand intellectually, but you'll never feel what I felt every day after your laugh." "I know," he whispered. "You think this is satisfying?" I asked, my eyes narrowing. "Seeing you like this?" "No," he said quickly. "I never wanted it to be like this. His voice cracked. "I'm asking for help." I felt a strange calm settle over me. The fantasies I had imagined, watching him beg, seeing him fail, didn't feel the way I thought they would. It wasn't joy. Not exactly. It was clarity. "This isn't the person I used to be," I said finally. "The girl who begged for recognition, who listened to your laugh." He looked at me, unsure. "That girl is gone," I continued. "She doesn't exist anymore. And neither does the power you once had over me." I understand," he said softly. "You want my help," I said. "But this isn't about helping you. This is about me being in control of my choices. My company. My life." "I know," he whispered. "And I choose not to help you," I said firmly. His eyes widened slightly. You're refusing me." "Yes," I said. "Because you are no longer relevant to my success. Your collapse is yours. Mine is mine." He nodded slowly, swallowing hard. "I see that now. I truly do." I stood up, straightening my jacket. "And that's where it ends." He looked down, silent, finally understanding. I walked to the door. "Goodbye, Daniel." "Emily," he whispered. I didn't look back. My heart was pounding, but it wasn't fear or anger, or revenge. It was power. My power. And for the first time, I felt completely free. He had fallen. But I had risen. I stared at him across the polished office floor, the weight of the moment pressing down. "Why should I help you?" I asked, my voice steady. He lowered his head, shoulders slumping. "Because I was wrong," he said softly. I blinked, the words barely reaching me. "Wrong? That's it? After everything? That's supposed to mean something." I asked, my voice sharper this time. He lifted his eyes briefly, shame clear in them. I know it doesn't fix anything. I needed to tell you." I shook my head. "I've already built my life without you, Daniel. I've already won." He swallowed hard. I understand." I leaned back slightly, letting the silence stretch. His desperation hung in the air, but it didn't move me. "Do you realize what this feels like?" I asked. "You coming here, expecting me to save you? Expecting mercy?" He flinched. I didn't know who else to turn to. I stuttered him. The confident man who laughed at me, who humiliated me, the man who thought he had power over my life, was gone. Only a frightened, broken version remained. "And now?" I asked. "What do you expect me to do?" "Anything," he whispered. "Please, anything. I need you." I tilted my head slightly. "Anything." I repeated. "You mean like forgiveness? Or another chance?" He shook his head. "No. Just help me survive this. I don't want to lose everything." I felt my chest tighten slightly, but it wasn't anger. Not anymore. It was clarity. "I'm not you, Daniel," I said finally. He looked up, confusion flickering across his face. "I won't destroy you," I said slowly. "But I won't save you either." He blinked. You mean that?" "Yes," I said. "I'm done being controlled by what you do or don't do. I'm done letting your past affect my present." He swallowed again, looking at me with a mixture of awe and fear. I see. That's fair." I nodded. "It's not revenge. It's not forgiveness. It's truth. And truth is all I need to give." He sighed, leaning back slightly, defeated. I guess I deserve this." "Deserved?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "You don't get to control what people give or take. You only get what they allow themselves to give. And I choose nothing." He stayed silent, his eyes fixed on me. The power in the room had shifted completely. He no longer held any. "I hope you understand," I said, my voice calm. "Not helping you doesn't mean I hate you. It just means I've moved forward. My life, my success, they're mine." I understand," he whispered again. "And I respect that." I let the words sink in, letting the air between us fill with finality. I felt no thrill, no satisfaction. Only peace. "Emily," he said softly, almost a question. "Yes." I replied, still seated, composed. I wish things were different," he admitted quietly. "Me too," I said. "But they're not. And that's life." He looked down, nodding slowly. "Then I accept your choice." I gave a faint smile. "Good. That's all I ask." He stood there for a moment, silent, finally understanding that the chapter of his influence in my life was over. I stood as well, straightening my jacket, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. "This is it," I said quietly. "Yes," he said, voice low. "It's over." I turned toward the door. "For both of us," I said. He nodded, a final acknowledgement. I walked out of the office, every step deliberate, every breath steady. No anger, no joy, no longing, just truth. And for the first time, I felt completely free. I had faced the past. I had seen the person who once controlled me. And I had chosen myself. No revenge. No mercy. Only clarity. That was the final choice. And it was mine. I stood at the head of the conference room, my hands resting on the polished table. "Emily, your projections are impressive," one investor said. "Thank you," I replied, my voice steady. Another nodded. The growth you've shown, it's remarkable. I smiled faintly. I appreciate your confidence. No one laughed. No one doubted me. They listened. They respected me. Sophie appeared at the doorway, her arms crossed but her smile wide. You did it, she whispered. I turned to her, letting her hug me briefly. We did it, I said softly. She pulled back, eyes shining. No, Emily. You did it. You carried this all on your own. I nodded slowly, feeling a warmth spread through me. Not pride, not vanity, something quieter. Something deeper. I never realized, I murmured, how much I needed to see it for myself. See what? Sophie asked. That I'm enough, I said. I wasn't nothing, Sophie. I was never nothing. I just didn't know it. She smiled, squeezing my hand. And now you do. I looked around the room at my team, at the investors, at the energy I had helped create. Each person trusting, each person believing in what I had built. It felt right, complete. Months ago, I would have doubted myself, woken up replaying Daniel's laugh in my head, wondering if I was worth anything. Now, I knew. I was enough. I finally understood that my value didn't come from anyone else's recognition. Not Daniel's. Not anyone's. I had built this life from the ground up. My work, my decisions, my perseverance, they had all led me here. And for the first time, I could look back without anger, without pain. As for Daniel, I'd heard whispers that he had disappeared from the industry entirely. His company dissolved. He was nowhere to be seen. Part of me had imagined how I would feel, vindicated, triumphant, maybe even satisfied seeing him fail. But now, thinking about him brought nothing. No bitterness. No desire for revenge. Just peace. I turned back to the team, listening to their questions, answering confidently, guiding them forward. Every word, every decision, felt natural. I wasn't performing. I was leading. Sophie leaned closer. You've changed, Emily. I have, I admitted. But not because of what he did. Not because of anyone else. Because I chose to believe in myself. She nodded, eyes sparkling. You finally see it. Yes, I said, a soft smile on my lips. I am enough. I always was. The room hummed with energy, with ideas, with possibility. And I stood at the center, calm, grounded, aware of my strength. No one could shake me now. Not laughter, not doubt, not fear. Because I had found my own worth. And it was enough. Sophie touched my shoulder lightly. Ready for the next step. I nodded. Always. And in that moment, I realized, the girl who was once laughed at, dismissed, and underestimated. She was gone. In her place stood someone whole, capable, and finally at peace. I had survived. I had risen. I was enough. And that was more than enough.